Hi, and welcome to Coding After Work.
Better be very, very clear.
Okay, so we streamed on our second channel yesterday, Married Geeks, and I may or may not been this close to say welcome to Coding After Work on that one. So that's why you're laughing, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. Hello. Welcome. So what are we doing today? We're streaming on a Wednesday.
We're streaming on a Wednesday because we're doing other stuff tomorrow.
We are.
We are meeting up with some friends in the afternoon and
And then we're heading straight for a Blazor workshop.
Yeah. Second one in a week.
Yeah, and this time I'm going to try to actually finish it.
So we're doing. So last Saturday we did a Blazor workshop in.
Well, you did it. I tried to keep up.
And on Friday we're doing another one. We're doing the same one but for other attendees. And it's actually a 2-day workshop, but we're doing it in 1 day. So we're kind of not expecting people to finish with the whole thing. So yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. It was really.
Hello.
Was a lot, very appreciated.
Hi.
I should say.
Yeah, and last time on the workshop there was a lot of Java people and even some front-end people, and they all went all in.
Yeah.
We did not scare away anyone, so that's always good, not scaring away people, especially when it comes to something you're very passionate about, like Blazor, for instance.
I heard myself saying now you can use your existing C# skills to do interactive web application. Okay, they don't have C# skills. They don't have C# skills. But then I thought, well, I really can't say C# and Java or your existing programming skill.
We could put it like your back end. I don't know.
Yeah.
What about Blazor? Do we think that it will be a thing, or will it be like Silverlight? Well, we're hoping, praying, whatever you want to do, crossing your fingers, that it's not a Silverlight, and I don't think it is.
It can't be.
No.
So the thing is, I really like, or I don't like, or whatever, how you say, will it be a thing? Because I can tell you it's a thing.
Yeah.
Really big companies in Sweden, and I'm talking really big.
Yeah, big names.
Companies that you have heard of, even if you're not a Swede, those companies are doing some internal stuff with Blazor.
Yeah.
So
and you have been using it in production at a bank for 2 years. Well, going on 3 now.
Yeah, almost. In what was? I
think it was day 6 or day 8.
I think it was September. So it's in September, it's 3 years. So a little bit longer until it's 3 years. But it's already a thing. And the Silverlight thing, I mean, first of all, too soon.
It's always going to be too soon.
But it can't be a Silverlight thing because it's really a web standard. It's built in every web browser already out there. We can even run Blazor WebAssembly in our car, so it's already a thing. It won't disappear, but
it's not as high risk.
It's not as high risk, and I had a very interesting discussion with the people on at the workshop. So they were talking about, well, is it going to be the next Silverlight and all of that? But what we all could agree on is that WebAssembly is going to be the next thing.
Yeah.
But
in one way or another.
In one way or another. Maybe not Blazor, I don't know. I can't foresee the future, but definitely WebAssembly. So.
You then also have things like GWT. I don't know what that is. Do you?
No. Well,
We're learning today.
Yeah, what is
well,
GWT?
hopefully.
WT.
That was hard to say. Oh, Google Web Toolkit,
okay.
of
Yeah.
course. See, we're learning. Acronyms.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Ah, look at that. Oh, yes, WebAssembly is the peep. It's definitely the peep.
So
beep.
not that long ago, I was friended on Facebook, and there was a guy saying like, "Yeah, so you're doing Blazor development," and I'm like, "Yeah, I am." Okay, you know what? Blazor is never going to be bigger than Angular or React or Vue or whatever JavaScript framework is popular today. But that's not the point.
No.
The point is, how can we as backend C# developers be productive and create interactive web applications without having to learn a ton of new tools,
Or not even
new language?
You maybe know some of it, but you're not as comfortable with it as you are if you're fluent in C#, for instance. Yeah. It only needs to be big enough.
I think it's. I'm surprised. So, I obviously are avoiding mentioning what companies these are,
Yeah.
but I'm surprised that such big companies are going for Blazor, to be honest, at this point in time.
And to be fair, we mostly know companies here in Sweden. So we can't speak for the rest of the world. But Sweden is a very fast adopter to Blazor. That we do know, for sure. Okay. So what else? What else?
So what else? What else? What are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah, exactly. On this Wednesday.
On this Wednesday? That's crazy. Crazy.
I know. I'm going to be all confused about the days after this.
So we are going to end this in London. We're not going there this Wednesday.
No.
It's. I think it's next week, isn't it?
It is.
The week after that. So we're going to end this in London. We're going to do a little bit of podcasting. We have hopefully, if everything goes as planned, we're going to do a podcast with Steve Sanderson, which I'm very much looking forward to meet him and talk to him. But not only that, we are talking at DevSum. We are recording podcasts
Well, you're
there as
talking at DevSum, I'm talking on NDC, but
That's
we're
true.
doing podcast or podcast guest snapping.
Yeah.
Like snapping them up on both.
So DevSum is happening. If you're using, if you want to go and use DevSum 15, you will get 15% off, which is kind of nice. And we do have sponsors.
We do.
Telerik has been a long-time sponsor, and they continue sponsoring us with, well, they have amazing Blazor UI controls. They have amazing UI controls, web controls in general, and they have fantastic support. So if you are using Blazor, you should definitely check them out. And then we have If. So If Insurance are looking for new developers. I think their developer community is...
Last time we checked, around 900.
Yeah, apparently. So they're saying they got 1,100 people strong tech community.
They are growing fast.
Yeah, and they're sponsoring events like these, sponsoring user groups and conferences and all of that. They're a really strong beacon in the developer community, so you should definitely check them out. And as far as we know, it's an awesome place to work. Okay.
And my previous nemesis, GitHub.
Yeah, I'm kind of seeing you like Seinfeld with Newman, kind of GitHub. That's we should do our own memes.
No.
GitHub.
No, I'm warming up to it. I'm warming up to it. And let's face it, I haven't used it in like 5 million years. And when I did, it was briefly, and we just fought.
Yeah.
That's about it. And that's probably more my fault than GitHub.
So I thought we talked a little bit about what we were going to do today, and we had an idea. So we're going to. Oh, we're not going to finish it. We're gonna finish.
start?
We're gonna move the add a conference page forward. We're probably not going to be done. But for that to happen, we need to talk about form validation, because we don't want people just to not type anything or type something wrong. We want to help them to write the correct thing.
Also, accessibility.
And accessibility. And the fun thing is that at work today, we had this exact thing we were talking about. We were doing a component. I made a component. We're actually going. So I build a lot of stuff on my spare time, and then I bring it to work. And then we continue to work on it, and then I'm bringing it kind of back. So in this case, we are actually looking at the component that we have at work, but we are renaming stuff and for this demo.
Yeah.
So what are we doing? Well, we are adding form validation. We already done that in a sense, but we're going to add a little bit more. And we're going to talk about.
We can't see what you're typing, but we have to
Neither
live
can
with
I.
that.
I can't scroll. I'm sorry.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
And we're going to talk about custom components.
And you can also add the top one. We have figure out a color palette. So we had issues converting the dark theme that we're using directly over to a light theme because we got some contrast issues with the yellow color, because that is impossible to use in an accessible way on a very light theme. So I found another color we can use.
So I'm typing add another color.
Yeah, sure.
It's behind me. Here. There. Somewhere.
But we do have a figure out color palette on top.
Yeah, but we're already done with that one.
Oh, that means done. Of course. Why do we still see it here? Is there no filter functions? Now, GitHub is losing me again.
Here. So here we can say filter by values.
Yeah. Anything but done.
Exclude no status. There we go.
Yeah. Thank you.
Better?
Yeah, much. Now I feel better.
Okay, so let's start with the color.
Sure.
So you brought a couple of colors last time, and now we have a green one.
Yeah.
Here.
Because we want that punch of the yellow one on the darker theme, but that is impossible on a white.
So this one is for white backgrounds.
Yeah, that's for the light one.
Right, so let's copy that one and go back into.
So basically, same color, but another accent color.
All right.
And I think that it will give us the same punch as the yellow, but in green.
Let's see. All right, so I'm trying to remember here. So we have the root here with a couple of variables.
Yes.
And then we have variables for the dark theme. So what we want to do is change this one. The accent color. No?
Yeah, but why is both accent colors different if we did not have a color? Oh, maybe we messed around with it. Yeah.
You found a
yeah, I tried. Okay.
Right, so like that. Let's run it, see what happens.
It was whole 6 days ago.
There we go. Speaker, it's green.
Yeah. Well, not as happy as the yellow color, but at least it's readable for everyone and has enough contrast.
So last time we did all of this.
Okay, it looks better on my screen than it does on the preview screen there. Okay,
yeah.
Carry on.
So here we have all the call for content that.
Should we back a little?
Sure.
So what we're doing is a page that finds call for papers or conferences, or we have a third. Yeah. For speakers who want to speak, or for organizers who's looking for either when it's a good time to plan your conference so it's not clashing, or where to find speakers, or open the call for papers,
and
attendees.
and also find other conferences that you can work together with.
Yes. And also a page for attendees where you can find maybe .NET conferences in the area, or similar to that, whatever you filter on. And we will not steal the information. We will send them to the respective pages they come from. So we are just one place to find the information instead of you having to check like 4 or 5 pages.
This is
like
basically
it is
Google
today.
for
Conferences. Yeah. Okay, so carry on.
So we
have not styled it yet.
No. we're very, very early still.
Yeah.
So let's go with speakers. We can go into
So this is the conferences that have open call for papers right now.
Yes. So as you can see, this is where we are. We already only done that so far. So let's take a look at, let's see, what did I call it? Add conferences. There we go. So this is the add conference page.
Yeah.
Let's zoom
Again,
in
not styled.
There we go.
Not styled.
It's not styled. But...
I should just put in a banner, not styled.
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna bring in. So last time we brought in bootstrap, and we're gonna do that. So the stream before that, we yanked bootstrap out of there, and then we said, hey, you know what? Let's bring that back.
Oh well, we did not say that. I think you were
me,
aloning
myself,
that.
and
yeah, exactly.
So let's think a little bit here. I believe I have that kind of styles here. So these are some of the demos that I'm doing on the workshop. But we are looking for a specific file that is called main layout, because we want to have that. We want to have the main layout, all the classes for Bootstrap in the main layout as well. So I'm going to close this Visual Studio, bring that into my other Visual Studio, which is down here.
How many Visual Studios do you have?
All of them.
I know. Well, not the older ones.
So there we go. So we got the div with the class page. We don't need a sidebar because we don't have one. We don't need a top bar because we don't want one. And there we go. So let's see if... There we go. A little bit better.
Little bit.
You see it?
Yeah, a little bit. Still not there though, but...
We're getting there.
Yep. Baby steps, baby steps.
Okay, so...
It's just good for my patients and stuff as well. So we're working not only the code.
Yeah. So I think we need to find some kind of template or something like that to get all of that make it look really professional.
Why do we need a template for that?
Because I don't know HTML that well.
It's a form.
Well, that one, yeah. But the whole site, I mean. Some awesome images. I've heard
some
that,
blinky, some
I've heard
marquee.
that stock photos are the way to go.
Stock photos are actually quite good unless they look as stock photos. As soon as they start to look like you downloaded a stock photo, it drags down your design. But there are amazing pages with amazing photos that you can use. And we do have some of them.
Yeah. All right. So I have created 2 components here. So in Blazor, there are a couple of components that you can use that will automatically give you a little bit of styling. So they give you a style for
the error message?
For the error message, thank you. So if you have not the error message, but the style around it's going to create a green box around the text box or a red box around the text box if the data is wrong.
Yep.
So those are called input text, and the other one there are 10-ish or something like that. Another one is input date, which is for dates.
Yeah. Is that the one we used when we set it up before Bootstrap? When we got the green line around. Okay, so the accessibility is, how do I put this nicely? Not there. There we go.
But I don't think it's supposed to be there either.
It is supposed to be there. It should definitely be there. If you are giving us validation and cues that something went right or wrong, how are you not giving us a little tiny symbol so anyone can manage? Yeah, no, this is me ranting about accessibility. Do better.
I think we can take a look at it. So
yes, please.
So you can rant about it all.
Yes.
Properly.
Yeah.
Proper
is my
rant.
rant friend in chat? No, he's not here yet.
So if you remember from last time, we added a custom CSS class provider,
right?
Which is a class
can you scroll that up a little?
That I made. That is actually in Blossom, so blossom.net. If you want to check that out, and this is a Bootstrap field CSS class provider, so it gives us all the classes for Bootstrap. So if we remove that, like that, I believe nothing happens. There we go. So this is the original out-of-the-box Blazor behavior. So if I type something here, I'm just going to type and I'm going to remove it. I'm going to, no. Oh, right. We only have, the only rule we have is that it's at least 3 characters or empty. So that it's empty is fine.
So there's 2 problems with this one. One, it's only color.
Yeah.
So we can't see it. And the text is also... how in the world is a regular non-dev human going to understand what a string or an array type is? That is not written for humans. Yeah. So I have issues.
Those error messages are customizable.
Yeah, but there should be a better example of this, I would say. Who do I talk to?
So if we bring this one back, there we go, save, go back, and boom, we have a little bit of a better experience.
Yeah, well, at least we have a symbol, even if I'm not sure if that's an error or not, but there's no real good error sign or symbol. So this is definitely, I don't like that it's full size, but that's a problem for tomorrow.
Yeah, that is not a, that's not
it's
a
not
bootstrap
styled.
problem.
No,
that's a me problem.
Yeah, I'm glad you said it.
Okay, so,
and the Bootstrap, the class, custom CSS class provider, if I recall correctly, is a component that will help us to switch from Bootstrap to, what is the Nightwing? It's called something like that. Tailwind, if we want to, or custom, just regular CSS without issues. We only have to change it in the class provider, in the custom CSS class provider.
It's actually in the Bootstrap field CSS class provider, but the custom CSS class provider. That's the longest name in the world. That helps with the implementation. It's a little bit easier to implement it this way.
I think Blazor is an interesting tech. Do you know if people are talking about some Java solution? They are, but they're not really happy about it. And let me see if I can remember the name. It's called Java Plains, maybe something like that.
I don't remember.
What is it?
Not sure if that. Are you talking about the guy that mentioned that on the workshop?
Yeah, but I've also.
So he also said that it's a.
No, it's not.
It's Java. It's a way to compile Java to WebAssembly, so it might not be a web solution at all. I don't know. I don't know.
But at least we know that from more than one aspect of, not only from that workshop, but also from some of the classes I've taught, people are interested in this and they are talking about it. So I'm guessing that something is probably in the making.
Yeah.
It's
all right. So we added conference name in the form, right? So if you take a look here, we have a div, we have a class MB-3. I have honestly no idea what that means, but this is copy and paste from Bootstrap's webpage. Then we have a label, and that label has a class form label. And then we have a text for that label, followed by the input text that we talked about, the Blazor component. So it's kind of like just writing input type text in regular HTML, but this gives us that it gives us binding. It's two-way binding. If we write like this, so bind and value. So value is a property. Bind is some Blazor magic that makes it possible to bind this up. And we're binding it to conference name, the property name. We're also adding a validation message. And we're saying that it's for, and then we have this kind of odd syntax. So we're saying that we want to bind it to a func that gets back the name property, because we don't only need the name, we need to be able to get that data back, get that actual property back. So let's say that I want to add another one. So I want to edit.
And GitHub Copilot will say, "Is this what you want?"
Sure, why not? We're not going to edit the description, but let's go with that just for why not? So it would look like that, right? So conference. Why is that not working? It should work. Well, it doesn't matter because we're going to remove it anyways. So we have again we get the label. We have the conference description. We have oh god, I hate Copilot so much.
You don't. You love it because it knows.
Look at this input text area.
Yeah.
I think it's actually like that. So it was wrong with the capitalization of the A.
But that's it.
But notice that up here I have input text. Here I have input text area, because it knows that the description is probably a bit longer.
Yeah. And that's his happy dance, but also a little bit flabbergasted that it actually works and how it reads, well, your mind, basically.
Yeah. I mean, it's not 100%, definitely not, but the amount of, I mean, it could have just said, you know what, we have a conference description, I'm just going to throw this out and be done with it. and I would be happy with it because
Yeah.
okay, but the input text should be the input text. It's just poop, and it just works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate it.
No, you don't. You love it. I think you're just
Look at that.
frustrated that you don't understand how.
Look at this. It knows that the start date is a date, so instead of the input text or input text area, it says input date.
Yeah.
This is not an okay behavior.
But again, this is his happy rant. He's only frustrated because he don't understand how it knows.
I don't. I can barely figure this out.
You love it.
Okay, so let's just take two of these. We have like 10 or 15, right? Properties.
I'm sorry, but Simon agrees that it is a bit annoying that it's almost perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like those close-up magic tricks that you don't know how they do it. You have the same reaction to those.
I know enough magic that I would be able to figure it out, and they didn't do it that way.
It completes your documentation.
Yeah, I know.
They know.
You know what? Try and write a blog post in Visual Studio. It's like, yeah, so you probably are talking about this and that, and basically you can write a blog post pressing tab.
What?
Okay, it's not maybe
Can
that
I get
perfect,
Copilot in Visual Studio Code?
yes. It
Okay.
started out there.
What?
But you need to go into GitHub and ask to join the Copilot program.
Okay. Thank you for today. I'm going to. I'm going to befriend.
Okay, so let's take a look at this. So we have about 15 different parameters or properties that we want to edit. Now, can you see anything that is a kind of a duplicate here?
MB3, the class.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, why do we have the class in every single?
Because it
Div.
needs to.
I don't like it.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
So this one, duplicate.
Yeah.
This one, kind of duplicate.
Yeah.
This one, duplicate. So now imagine, so this is a really good tip because in Blazor, everything is components. A page is a component is obviously a component, and you can have component inside of components.
Yes, look at that. It could be a component.
It could be a component.
Everything. You can even have components in your components.
And this is something I did earlier.
Is it a component?
It is a component. So it kind of looks like crap now, but let's we can
Language.
fix this later on. So Microsoft is using something called an input base, and the input base, then you supply it with some kind of what you want to edit. So if we take a look at the GitHub repo that I had open somewhere.
Oh, it's
Here it
well,
is.
there you go.
There it is. So let's take input text, for example. So we have the input text. So that's the one we had on the page.
Are we supposed to be able to read that?
That would be awesome.
Awesome.
So the input text is inheriting from input base with a string, apparently a nullable string. And here's where things get a little bit strange, because Microsoft's own components are not using Razor files. They're using the what the Razor files are generating. So in Blazor, you will write your Razor file. You will add all of that stuff to the Razor file, and then when you compile it, it will generate a C# file, and where it looks kind of like this. So here you can see that it opens an element, an input element. It adds multiple attributes, in this case, all of the attributes that are not matching anything else. So if we don't have a property with the name of, let's say, disable, that would be rendered in that method or in that step. It says, okay, so add class if the class CSS class is not empty. We add a value, and then we have bind converters and all of that. I'm not going to go into depth what that is and what that works, how that works, because I do not know. And we have on change and all of that. So this is basically this is going to render out an input with the type that is actually not a type in here. So the default is text. So it's not setting type at all here. And it has some try parse and all of that. And there's also some logic inside of input base. So what we can do is we can do the same thing. We can inherit from input base, but in this case, because I think that working with the Razor file is a lot easier, we're doing that in Razor file. But this should actually be a string with a lowercase string. So here we have, so we are, let's scroll down here. We have a couple of parameters. So we have a success message. Now this is a thing that I did a talk at .NET Conf, I believe, talking about UX, how to make a great UX with Blazor. I don't know why they had me there, but I was there and I did the talk. And I was talking a lot about how we can use dopamines and serotonin and all of that. Is it called serotonin?
Yeah.
Yeah. To create a better user experience. So success message is if we are typing in something and it goes well. So if I'm typing out, if I type out, my name is Jimmy, for example, and I'm typing Jimmy in the name column, it could say, hello, Jimmy, welcome, or something like that. Getting a little bit of success feedback. We have read only, which we'll come back to. We have label text, which would be the label. We have placeholder, which is I believe it's kind of like a watermark inside of the text box. We have a description, so if we need to tell them something about what they're about to add, we can do that in the description.
So what's the difference between the placeholder and the description?
The description is underneath the text box. The placeholder is inside the text box.
Got it. So we will try to use the placeholder then.
Probably.
Because
but it's possible to use the description.
Ooh, and we can need that maybe if something goes wrong or something. Yeah, carry on. Went ahead.
We also have an onValid event callback because sometimes you want to trigger something if we have a valid value. So if we're typing in something and we want something else to happen somewhere else, we can use that event callback. We have show validation error on load. So in some cases, we want to make sure that we want to show a error message when we're loading the form because something might be wrong in the form and we want to show that right off the bat. So typically, if we're loading data from the server, we might want to have that triggered or turned on. We have a type, which is what kind of type we want to show. In this case, it's always going to be text. This is I'm trying to create a component that would work for any scenario. This is halfway. This is a halfway point. As you can see, we have text area rows. I'm not there. I'm definitely not there.
Work in progress.
So yeah, so I can actually remove these, and so it's a little bit better. this, what's up with this one? It's not something I'm not using. And we have disabled, so we can disable the control if you want to. Here we have if onValid has a delegate, which means that are we listening to the onValid delegate? We are using the edit context. So the edit context is something that all the components that has a edit context
You froze.
maybe they won't notice. I'm totally blanking. Value, something value. Cascading value.
Oh.
Total blank. So every component that has actually a cascading parameter, which is taking in that edit context, and then we have a cascading value that is providing that edit context. So all the components that are listening to that edit context, and that we are getting that from the input base. The input base has a edit context and listening to that. So here we're checking if the value has changed, and we're invoking the get validation messages. So we're checking, is this message okay? And we're getting that if it's okay, we're going to trigger that event. There we go. So down here we have something that I really enjoy, to be honest. So here we're using reflection. So we're getting the property of the field name in this case. So in the case of the conference name, it's name. We're getting the display attribute. And if the display attribute is not null, we are getting the label text from the display name. We're getting the placeholder from the prompt value. And we're getting the description from the description value. So we don't have to add label text to all of those places. We can add them in the class that are providing the values if we want to. Again, if it is null, we're not going to do anything. Then we're going to use the label text and all of that. And if we are showing validation on errors, we are telling the edit context do the validations. So we're getting all of those errors right off the bat. And I see I have something red up here. Yes, I removed the type, so we can do that here as well. We can hard code that as text because I always want you to rebuild. Because this is input text one. We also have one for input date, same thing. This one I was struggling a little bit just before the stream. So here we're actually using the input date because it's handling date time only. It's handling time spans. It's handling date time, all of those different ones. And I didn't want to rewrite the whole component. To be honest, I couldn't make it work. So I thought, you know what? We're going to use the input date. So we're going to use the functionality that Microsoft are providing us with. So I would guess that will do the same thing with the input text as well at some point. But let's start with that so far. Okay, so let's go back into our add conference page.
Dates and time is an endless rabbit hole. It really is. So
let's let's take a look at if we can do this a little bit better. First of all, we don't want to edit the description. So we are getting the description from Sessionize, for example, and from a couple of other sites, but we don't want to add that to the site. We don't want to take away visitors from Sessionize or any other site that we might add to the database. We want people
to be a lookup site.
Yeah, we want them to go there to read more. We don't want them to go into our site, read something and say, you know what, I'm not going to submit for this conference, or this conference is not right for me. We want them to go to that site. We want them to... So we can remove the description. We don't want that. So this one. Let's do the alternative just beneath. So we have the Blossom.
That's your component.
Yes. Input text. So let me. So I'm naming it Blossom because I'm thinking that we're going to move this out at some point, but it's actually in this project. Blossom text. Okay, great. Next, we want to bind the value. So we're going to go at bind.
Right. Looks
value. There we go. No.
Bind value.
Bind. Equals. Let's see what we got. Do no IntelliSense now.
Sometimes.
So we're going to type bind value, and what we want to bind is the conference name.
Right.
Like that. If we go into the name here, or the properties, why are you showing me like that? Don't want to. Okay, so apparently we were in some diff mode.
Oh, right.
There we go. So the name, we're saying the minimum length is 3. I would say that it's required.
Right. You need to put something in.
Required. There we go. And I can also add a display name. Now the property. Oh God.
Did it know?
How?
Again, just to be clear, this is his happy face, but also frustrated that he doesn't know how GitHub Copilot will help you with this magic.
Last stream, you said, I don't want it to be named name.
Yeah.
It should be named conference name.
I did say that. And apparently, GitHub knows that now.
So we're going to go conference name. I think we're going to have a lowercase name there. That's better, right?
Yeah.
So we're supplying the name here. And let's take a look here. I understand that you're not seeing what I'm doing.
I am not.
So that's the one. That's the stuff we want. All right. So we're supplying the name here.
Right.
Which means that I don't need to supply the name here.
Huh.
I could, but I don't have to.
Yeah. Which makes for a cleaner Razor page.
Exactly. So let's pop into our web. Is it here? Here we go. There we go. They look kind of the same.
They do. They look basically identical.
Identical.
And show me the code again. Can you?
Identical.
Can you? Thank you.
So we went from this to that.
Yeah. You didn't even have to put it in a div?
No, because the div is inside the
right.
already, the component already.
That is pretty neat. And also, Copilot watches the stream, obviously.
Obviously.
That's why it knew that I wanted conference name.
So this is a really good tip to make sure that you use components in this manner, because you can clean up the code in, I mean, it wouldn't be wrong to copy
No.
this 15 times.
Of course.
But look at that.
But if you then want to change you want to change the class, the CSS class for it, you need to change that in 15 places,
Yes.
at least.
At least.
Which, of course, it's not
And
the best.
it's not only about the
Actually,
class.
30, because there's 2 classes there.
Yeah. And it's not only about the classes here.
No.
It's also like the class here, of course. Maybe we want to enclose them in something else. We want to show it with a, I don't know, something, a section, an article. I don't know. Why would you do that? But okay. You can change everything.
Yeah. Simon says, I like that so much. I think I've been making my components way too big. And that's pretty easy to do, isn't it? And I think because you have been working with Blazor for so many years now, you have that component mindset already, which makes for a little bit cleaner code. Again, it's not wrong to do the other way around, but just know that you can clean it up like this.
You usually say that developers are lazy. Or you're saying that you are lazy.
Yeah, I am lazy, definitely.
Here's the thing. A lot of developers are going to copy that text 15 times because it's easier.
I would probably do that.
You're not saving time.
No.
This is saving time. This is saving time. You're even saving time from copy and pasting everything. I mean, this Blossom input text has way more functionality that I'm using right now. So it could just have been the text that we showed you in the beginning. You're saving keystrokes.
Yeah.
You're especially saving when you're coming back to this page. It's going to be way easier to read. So it's not always about refactoring and well, one day I might want to change something. That is not always the case.
Yeah.
It's also all about getting cleaner code. And being lazy in this manner, I have two
legs, arms, hands, eyes, ears.
I'm looking for properties, something like that.
Traits.
I'm lazy, and I seriously hate doing things twice.
Oh, that is true.
So doing copy and pasting stuff, that's kind of like, what's up with this? Can we solve this in some other manner? I've spent weeks creating scripts to avoid doing things twice.
Yeah, I can attest to that. We were doing a simple Excel file, and you put in, I don't know, an hour or two to actually do the VBA script instead of just using the form and click sort. Because it was a little bit more neat or whatever. I don't know. You script all the things.
Yeah. So I have actually an even worse example. I'm writing the next version of my book, and
you just described my day job.
Yeah.
Not coding twice means not making mistake the second and third time, right?
Yeah. So I'm writing the next version of my book, and I found that when reading through the book that I made some, I wouldn't say mistakes, but it wasn't 100%. I want to start with the name of the project, and then the folder name, and then the file, and then what you're going to do. And in some cases, I got those switch around. So I thought, you know what?
I know where this is going.
Wouldn't it be cool if I could write my book, all the steps in the book in a manner that would be programmatically resolved for me. So basically what I did was I created a Blazor project because
It's a Blazor book.
yeah, and I like working with Blazor. And for some reason, this is... I was thinking about what is the best way to add data that was kind of readable. And the only thing I came up with was YAML. I have no idea. I hate YAML.
You do.
I truly,
with a passion.
With a passion. But I ended up with YAML. So what happened was that I can write like YAML code saying like, okay, project and the project name, file and the file name, what it should do, so like an action, so new or edit or something like that. I can add a reference to a code file on GitHub and say that, you know what, between these tags, this is the code that I want to add into the blog post or the book or something like that. And it's going to check, so if I have the project, if the next item on the list is the same project, it is going to say, you know what, it's the same project, so I don't need to say in the something project because it's the same one as we just did. I don't need to say that in this file because it was the same that we just did. And you're going to add the code and so on. So yeah, so I wrote basically...
He wrote a program to help him write a book.
Yeah.
That's what he did. Well, actually, to help him with the code part of the
less repetitive work.
And that's how he does everything. YAML is the new XML.
Yeah. Okay, so let's...
So you got to rant today as well.
Yeah.
And
So
Tyndall is not here for it.
So let's pop into our conference file. So here we have a required minimum length of 3, image URL. So what do we need? So we're downloading an image URL from the site. It could be a banner, it could be something. We're just going to add it. I'm not sure that we are going to use it, but let's say that we want to add some kind of validation for that image URL.
Okay.
What kind of validations would you think would be proper for an image URL?
Is it a JPEG or PNG?
Absolutely, that could be something. If we step back a little bit further, what would be a great thing to validate?
Oh, the URL.
That it's actually a URL.
Yes.
And thankfully, Microsoft provides us with that kind of data annotations. So I can say URL. But the JPEG and PNG, we should definitely do that as well. But not now. There is really great, so there's data annotations for range, if it's required or not, minimum length, max length, a lot of different things that we can use to... there's even one for regular expressions, which might fit that case. The start date, actually we want to add something more here. We want
do
to...
have a question
Yes.
here. Does that support any schema like Gopher and FTP?
It supports FTP that I know of. Gopher, I'm not sure. We can test it. So for the label for the call for paper URL, what do you want it to say?
For the call for paper URL? I don't know. Call for paper link?
For paper.
Or just link? Do we need to say call for paper?
Yes.
Okay.
Link or URL?
Do regular people, humans, use URL or do they... Page?
I think...
Page.
Okay.
It is a page.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know how regular people talk.
I think people that are working with call for paper knows what a URL is.
Well, we're not only getting developer conferences, even if we get suggestion, link, or URL here. Yeah.
Okay, so we have, let's copy this one. What happened with this one? Why is it red? Display.
Because you didn't
because
say.
I
didn't
do it like that.
To use. Oh, yeah. Copperbeardy says URL. He's using a URL.
Okay, so.
And also Simon said link or URL. So
URL.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
The call for paper start date. What do you want to say?
That is the one. Is it the started, or are we going to display that? How long it's been open? Open since? Opens at?
No. That could be. So what do you want?
Opens at? I don't know. Do you have anything?
Okay. I'll decide then.
Thank you.
Oh God.
Copilot knew it.
Now that this isn't exactly correct because it's the opening date, but let's say starts.
Why? How? Now I'm starting to sound like you.
Yeah.
Huh? That doesn't make sense.
Actually, I like closes or opens. And closes.
Yeah.
Right. Event URL would be nice if we know it, say.
Event URL.
Or URL.
Well, it's not clear because we have multiple URLs.
Yeah, but that is checking. That is not the name of the.
Okay.
The validation.
Got it. I was in naming mode now.
So
name all the things.
That would be a. What should we call that? Let's just call it event URL.
Internet is like 30 years old. People need to understand the basic acronyms by now. Well, one would hope, but people.
We can do it like, oh God.
People will think that you hate GitHub Copilot, but you hate it in a loving way.
I hate that it's smarter than me.
That's what's getting to you.
Right, let's see here. When I kind of like, it's figuring out when does the event end. I kind of like the while I'm typing this out, instead of calling it event URL, it kind of like questions, when does the event start? Where is the venue for the event? Kind of like getting, kind of asking questions for the data. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Where is the event?
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. People learn things when they need to. No need to stress about the random stuff people don't know. Well, you're probably right. And I'm just overly cautious that I don't disappoint that one person who did not understand. But I'll back on that one, definitely. What city? How? It is pretty good at this.
The description, we're not going to use that one, but let's
They seem to stress a lot when one doesn't know silly laws. Madness, definitely madness.
So create date and update date, that is not something you can set.
No.
Identifier and source, not set. Longitude and latitude, I would argue that we're not going to set those either. Because I think that that is going to be the system is going to set those based on the venue and the city and all of that.
Oh, Simon, think you should try, instead of pasting, you should try typing. Nothing? Is the event live? Huh.
It's not
The
what
question
we're
makes
looking
sense in this day and age, but it was not intended for that one.
What is the Twitter handle?
Oh, it knows! It knows!
Okay, let's see. Let's type it out then. What is the Facebook page? No, that is not what I'm looking for.
You did not read ahead. GitHub Copilot. We want the code of conduct.
Do you have a code of conduct URL? Is on we're going to revisit this. The it's online thing, and we need to figure that one out a bit. We're just gonna leave that for now. Same thing with tags. We're not gonna touch those right now. And added address information is just our backend. If it tries to add information, if it succeeds, we're going to have some more information. If it doesn't succeed, we're not going to try again and again. So that's why we have that that value. Okay. So
good point. I would answer yes. That is a good point.
Okay.
URL to code of conduct, maybe.
URL to code of conduct. Like
you
that.
would also answer yes to that one.
He might be right.
He might be right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is.
I'm not admitting to anything.
I'm pretty sure you just did live on stream.
So let's take a look at our ad conference page again.
Also, you cannot have URL below display.
What? Why not? Is that is where did I put it? Over here. Why shouldn't I be able to do that? Or is this an OCD thing?
Oh, it is, because you did it the other
Okay.
way around all on the others. Yeah. Nice catch, Simon. He was just ranting about things
To
like
be fair,
this.
I think I can do that if I want to, but I don't think that it's as nice. I can put them in the same.
Oh, you can.
But that is not. So I
Not your
can put them like that.
Not your preferred way.
All right, let's pop back.
Thank you for
to-
calling him out on that one, Simon.
So let's bring in some. Let's add one for event start. But this time we don't want our Blossom input text. We want our Blossom input date, because it's date. Let's add another one.
You're the one that taught him, he says. So, yep. Okay, so we need
Date.
some dates.
We need
That makes
a
sense.
event URL. Let's pop up here, and we're gonna say we're gonna create an H1 at conference, and then we're gonna have an H2 conference information. Like that. So we got the event URL. Let's add a Twitter and the code of conduct. There we go. Then we'll add a input box of the type checkbox. And we're going to add another, we're going to add a bool that says has open CFP. And when we are on click, no, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Finally.
So let's do it like that. It's kind of odd because GitHub Copilot says that, for example, in this case, it says so the checkbox is going to be bound to conference.isActive, but there's no isActive. That is not a property that we have. It's kind of odd that it sometimes it's super smart and sometimes it's not
Not
really
as smart. No.
So in here we're gonna add a method, and when we click the checkbox, it's going to toggle the has open call for paper, and it's simply gonna put that call for paper in the other direction. So if it is false, we want it to be true, and the other way around. And then we're gonna say has open call for paper. We're saying call for paper, call for content. Content, right? No, paper.
Oh, we do?
I don't know. What
we usually say call for content when we are referring to our own conferences.
Yeah,
but
this one is call for paper. Let's call it.
Yeah, I think we have written call for papers or CFP everywhere. So, and I guess if you're actually sending in content or paper, it doesn't matter because they're interchangeable in this day and age, at least for this purpose.
So we're adding an if statement. So we're saying that if it has open call for content or paper,
if it's calling for something,
someone is calling. We're going to add an H2 and we're going to say call for paper. So the call for paper information is going to be there.
It's trying to help you.
So let's bring in, so that would be the call for paper start date.
All right.
And that would be a date, right?
Sounds about right.
Let's copy that one again. There we go. That would be the end date. And the conference
CFP URL, and it knew. There you go. Thank you for flying Copilot.
That was funny.
Or maybe I should have said flying GitHub, because it's the pilot who's talking.
Did you see that? Let me see if I can get that back. No?
What did I see?
I'm going to try that again.
Oh, are you getting angry at Copilot?
Can you explain this?
No.
So it knows that we talked about the conference information. It knows that we talked about the call for paper. Now it understands that the remaining data we have is going to be about the location.
Yeah, that is pretty neat. Pretty neat.
Okay, so we have the, so that's not right, but it's actually suggesting Blossom input at this point.
Right, it is.
It's not correct. We want to have a venue.
Yeah, but it was close enough.
We don't have any address. We have
Well, country and city, right?
yeah. So let's just add city. It got city. And country. There we go. Like that. And we still have the submit button and all of that goodness. All right, save. So let's go back here. Did I break something? There we go.
And we're in the way. There you go.
Conference name. When does the event start? When does it end? Event
Right.
URL.
Again,
So
this is not styled.
let's type something. It's going to say, hey, you know what? The event URL field is not valid. It's not fully qualified. So HTTP, HTTPS, HTTP, FTP. Sorry. So let's say Gopher. Is that how you do that?
I do not know.
Monkey.com. So Gopher does apparently not work.
No slashes.
Oh, no slashes. Okay, let's see. There we go. No.
And Simon says, in the future, we will have code reviewers of Copilot instead of programmers. That would be a good code reviewer.
Yeah.
Huh.
But here's the thing. So there was someone saying like, yeah, Copilot is so awesome. It's going to replace developers. For that to happen, we need someone to write a specification that is actually correct. We're safe.
Stacey said, I have different thoughts there. Yeah. I think it will make some parts of the development easier for the developer. With that being said, I don't mean anyone who's not a developer can develop. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it will be easier to do repetitive stuff and you will get more help so you can do more stuff. You can be more productive.
Like what you see in here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of helping me not have to type every single character.
Yeah.
Okay, so the date here, we're getting a nice drop down here. It's like crazy far behind here, but it's fine, I guess. We have the Twitter. If I click the has open call for paper, we're going to get a little bit more information here. We have the location, and well, this is all we need to add a conference, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah.
But imagine this. Is this okay?
I can't even see what you're doing.
Is it okay to add a conference that has already been?
No.
No.
No. We need to validate that.
So this is something I did
Oh,
earlier.
look at this. I'm dreaming of asking Siri to do the boilerplate and I'll review it. For a safer version, I'm happy to specify the type of enumeration, just don't want to type needlessly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to continue the discussion, I don't think it will replace anyone, but hopefully it will write most of the code and we can focus on correcting it. Kind of like Stack Overflow. Tempting to use, very dangerous to do, so unchecked. Yeah, definitely check. For now, let's just watch Jimmy rant about it being right some of the time. You prepared something.
I did. Actually, this is something my colleague wrote today.
Oh, really?
Because he needed to make sure that payments was only the currency conversion was only made in today or in the future, not backdated. So
Right.
he created a must be future date attribute.
Ah.
And this is a nice thing. We can create our own attributes if we need to.
Right. And this is in the Blossom component library?
No, this is in
This
our
is
project.
just a bit
right
of
now. Yeah.
code right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here I extended it just a little bit to handle date only and date time. So basically, if we're not selecting anything, where it's going to say you must select date, and if
Did he type that text?
which one?
Is that your colleague's text? You must select the date.
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, we can tweak it later to be a little bit friendlier.
The date must be no. That is actually my text because he wrote in Swedish.
Oh, right. Okay. I could take some future currency rates if you have any. I think that would be a problem for the financial inspection, insider trading.
Yeah. And the date must be today or a future date if it's not. So we have the must be future date attribute. So let's copy that one. Let's go back into our conference here and select, where do we have it? The event start. So apparently I can't put anything else beneath, so let's do that. So must be future date, and we're adding the using for that as well. And why are you not? Didn't add it. There we go. And we are doing the same thing with the event end. Because I'm thinking we are not interested in adding manual conferences that has already started and is
or already closed.
Yeah, but
ended.
I'm also thinking that the call for paper that is not the same thing.
No.
The call for paper is okay that it's an older date. We don't care about it if it's an older date, but it's okay if it is an older date.
As long as we can sort or filter on open call for papers as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Then I'm with you. Because again, we have 3 different aspects to these, 3 different user personas.
Yeah. So let's see. Did this update already? No.
I don't know, but you need to scroll up. Thank you.
Let's switch dates. No. Let's build it. Build it and they will come. Right, there we go. And let's select today.
Nice start date.
It's that's good. Today is okay, and let's select another one, and the date must be today or a future date.
So the whatchamacallit, it wasn't called the label, the placeholder. Could we fix so that's today's date? Because the year 001, 0001 looks...
It's not the placeholder, it's actually the date, the default date, but yes, we can fix that.
Thank you. You don't have to fix it today, but it's going into GitHub as an issue. I'm putting my foot down here. You froze again.
Yeah, I'm thinking because the problem is that we don't want call for paper. We don't want today's date going into the database.
No.
Right. So we can't get that default value in there.
No.
Because if we do, we're gonna get the today's date into the database.
That's the same with 0001 as well.
Yes and no, because 0001
The year one.
is the representation of null.
Okay.
So it's actually null.
Yeah.
So if we just save it like that, but let's solve that. But let's do it
Later.
Later.
Yeah.
Because what we can do is when we are saving. Actually, let's do it now.
Sorry.
Let's do it now. Let's do it. That is not the right place. So basically, what we need to do is has open call for paper.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna say conference. If it doesn't have an open call for paper,
Mm-hmm.
we want to conference dot start date is going to be null.
Mm-hmm.
Did you help me?
It,
I see?
it did.
There it is. And
It knows.
this must annoy you too.
No, it's magic. I'm just fine with it. I'm not annoyed that GitHub Copilot that is consuming all of the GitHub repos are a better developer than me. I'm fine with that because I'm not a good developer. So
the call for paper URL is not nullable, so maybe we should make sure that it is. So
okay.
we can just leave it. Okay, so we're saying that if it doesn't have an open call for paper, let's just remove the date in them, and then we can go into the call for paper here, and we can say date time dot now.
Awesome.
And closest will be the same thing, I guess. So
It's easier to have something for some of the date pickers.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to start from today's date because then you know your way around. And
Actually, I just realized that I did this in the wrong place, but this
really?
is good as well. Yeah, because these are the ones, not the call for paper URLs that we're talking about.
Right.
But the call for paper URLs is going to be
the
nice
same.
looking here.
Should it be nullable? Simon wonders.
The date, yes, because I want it to be able to be null because I want someone to be able to add a conference without supplying call for paper dates. So, for example, the build conference that is going on in May, late May, they might not have an open call for content, and then I want it to be show that it doesn't have an open call for content by showing null. That's
because that conference would be interested to both organizers, so they don't do their .NET conference during build, and also for attendees, because they want to find a maybe .NET conference to watch.
Yes. So here we are doing event start. We're actually doing
date. You want to be able to unset it. That makes sense. Yeah.
So we're doing date only and from date time. I don't know if there is an easier way to do this, but that's the way I've found. So we're going to pick that up there, and the same thing with the end date. Like that. Stop. We need to have one of those. Let's build it. And
come on, date.
That is not a predator, that's a drum roll.
I think it was a domesticated predator.
Turn around.
Cool, I didn't know about date only.
Oh, I hate that name.
Yeah, it's an interesting name choice.
So if we take a look in the database while that is compiling, so if you check this one, for example, you'll see that it's only
Enlarge
saves.
that.
Maybe.
Awesome.
No.
A little bit. Well, that's better. I can read that on my screen.
So we have the call for paper start date in this case is null because this particular source doesn't have a start date. If you add it to their database, it's open. The end date has time. In this case, it's apparently at 12 a.m. And the event start is a date, and the event end is a date, and it doesn't contain any time, which is nice. So let's see if
Reload.
did I break anything? It doesn't fail. Is this? No, that one.
Why
fails as
isn't it
well.
playing with us?
Okay, so let's kill that one and open it again.
Come on, page. There we go. And go to the add.
Conference. There we go.
And
now
scroll
you have
up. Thank you.
nice looking
Yes.
dates.
I prefer that.
And does it still work? If I select yesterday, well, it says, you know what? You need to supply a date.
Cool. Which could be an issue if this is a conference. If you scroll down, the call for papers can already be open.
Yes?
So if you click has open call for paper, and then you say call for papers opens, and you say it opened the first or something, yeah.
Well, this
It
one
still
doesn't
works.
have
Okay.
that,
Yeah,
that
cool.
attribute.
Cool. Hey, we talked about you later. I hope you're feeling better. I heard you might have a migraine. Those sucks. Ooh, the rants you missed, both from Jimmy and I. Oh, don't like the headaches. We do get them as well. Not fun, to say the least.
Yeah.
But
Definitely
yeah,
not.
we did some ranting. Slept away the afternoon. That sounds healthy, actually. Definitely. Sounds like you needed that.
So we added well, we haven't added the conference, but we added
The ad page?
The ad page.
Yeah.
We talked about form validation. We created our own. Well, I created the component beforehand, but we talked
Like
about
a TV chef?
doing all of that using components.
And we cleaned up.
Basically everything.
Yeah, we componentized. I don't know. Always trying
If we
to.
scroll out just a little bit, I understand that it's not readable, but the red lines was basically how many lines the one post of the old implementation was. So we're getting it's a lot better, I would say.
So I'll need to watch this on video on demand again. I'm like an episode behind all the time. Well, it's our fault a little bit too, because we're streaming on a Wednesday.
Crazy talk.
Yeah,
Crazy talk.
because tomorrow we're not at home. And Friday, Blazor workshop.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
really looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too, actually, because I really want to finish the workshop I started. So I'm basically taking Jimmy's workshop and testing it out. Did find some... no, that was Microsoft Workshop. I found issues with.
Yeah, but still.
I knew you would, though. But yeah, let's blame Jimmy. Oh, I do that all the time. I do it all the time. Laser. Oh, Blazor. Yeah. A little bit different.
So I have a friend or an old colleague that was actually doing laser shows. So we had like crazy lasers, lots of them, and apparently there's laws in Sweden. So basically, you can set everything up. That's fine, but then I don't know, laser expert. I don't know. There is some kind of government institution.
Laser institution.
Yeah, something like that. So they come out to your laser rig and check it out and see everything's working. Okay.
That's cool. So what's up tomorrow? Anything you can share or personal time? Actually, we're going to an after work for the first time in like 5 million years.
Yeah.
So that's where we're going.
So a couple of consultants that we used to work with are having an after work at their place, and they invited us. So
you're missing so much nerd cred by not doing the finger quotes, man. To code after work? I don't think we're coding after work. This time. I'm
bringing my laptop, but...
I am too. I'm going to prep for... before that, I'm going to prep for the Blazor workshop. I have my mind set on doing that workshop from start to finish.
The whole 2 days?
I know, it's a 2-day... it's a 2-day workshop, and... Well... Oh, I shouldn't say this on stream, but to make Tyndall happy, I mean, he has a headache and all that, I will give you this. So I had some issues, let's call it that, doing the, starting the workshop, because first of all, my Visual Studio 2022, now I'm a Visual Studio code person, if I need to do anything.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because Visual Studio scares me a little bit. But my Visual Studio 2022 preview was so old that it could
How old was it?
It was so old it couldn't even be updated. That's how old it was. So I had to download that again over conference Wi-Fi. So yeah, that went well. And when I finally installed it and did a second update, because that's how old it was, I accidentally opened the project in Visual Studio 2019 without knowing and without realizing. Because for me, it's just exclamation point, not Visual Studio Code, right? It's just that's what it was. So I think it was 1:30. I actually could start with the workshop that started at 9. So yeah, I spent an embarrassingly a long time trying to set up my coding environment. So that was embarrassing. But I now have a warning color on 2019 because sometimes you need it. So I have light theme in 2019 and I have dark theme and everything else. So now I know, because I may or may not have accidentally opened the wrong editor again.
And we know why light theme is a bad thing, right?
It attracts bugs. Yeah, so that's... But you can upgrade Visual Studio 2017. I think it was because it was a preview version. One of the first previews.
I think that if you had started Visual Studio Installer, I think you would be able to do it from there.
Yeah.
But the actual Visual Studio said like, you're not going to be able to update.
They were not happy. Ouch, people waiting for you. No, they were not. So Jimmy was doing the workshop and I was just attending basically. So it wasn't... that important that I finished it. But I did actually catch up a fair bit. I was surprised because I got to I finished chapter 4, I think. And one of the groups, they were at 4 as well. But then there were some that actually went to 7, but that's my goal for next time.
And you found some bugs.
Did he charge you? No, he did not. I was actually invited by the same company who hired Jimmy to do the workshop. They invited me along because I did a job for them before that. So
we had such an awesome dinner. They invited us for dinner as well.
Yeah.
Great food, and the topics was so nerdy that I almost felt normal.
Yeah, there was no, Star Trek is this and that, or nobody bat an eyelash when someone said something about time travel and I don't know, warp speed and how that works.
It wasn't like, oh, you're such a nerd. It was more like, hey, this is a topic we can talk about.
Yeah.
What do you think about time travel or space travel? It was
fun.
Such an amazing dinner.
Literally lol here, Jimmy. No, that was fun. I like nerds. I do.
Yeah.
Mostly because I don't feel left out as with regular people.
And so there was a guy that said, you know what? This is an unpopular opinion, but I really like Starship Troopers. And Jessica went like, me too!
I almost jumped off the seat. And he was genuinely shocked. Like, I never heard anyone else say that. I'm like, have you seen the cartoons? Roughnecks! So we actually added that to our movie series to rewatch. So, yeah.
We added that to...
Yeah, I might have forced that. Yeah, see? Starship Trooper is awesome! Oh, definitely. One of the few places where I don't overload with anxiety most of the time. Definitely. There was no awkward... Even the pauses were not awkward because everyone was awkward.
Yeah.
Basically.
And they're all the stories was nerdy.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what he did? He has a car, and kind of like, yeah, okay, we're going the car route. I'm not car interested at all. Jessica is, but I'm not. And like, he has a huge car that he is restoring, and it's like that was a nerdy story all by itself, because it wasn't just, well, he's kind of fixing his car. It was like a real nerd project.
Yeah, definitely. Starship Trooper is a great movie for pure entertainment. Yes, I think so. If you haven't seen the sequel movies yet, don't. I'm sorry, but
you are not wrong.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But Roughnecks, the animated series, that is one of my favorites. I hope it's still as good as I remember it to be.
I think I mean, it's a cartoon, so I think why wouldn't it be?
Yeah, but you like anything with color.
For anything with color.
Moving colors, it doesn't matter what cartoon, you like it.
Yeah.
I look at it, yeah, definitely. We still have it on DVD. The animated series, the film sequels were a struggle, yeah. So the
Still
animated series is called Roughnecks. And I remember it. It's been a while, but I remember it almost as good as Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Which I thoroughly enjoyed. The series. Just to put it out there.
Yeah, I really liked Starship Troopers.
Yeah. Yeah, so we basically had dinner with awesome people like we have in chat room. Mm-hmm. Because we have the same amount of fun here as we did there. So thank you for being our friends and nerds. We appreciate it. So next time, I think we will try Thursday again.
Yep.
Or Wednesday? Well, our image says...
doesn't really matter.
No. Let us know.
What do you prefer?
So what are we actually doing next time?
Huh.
Do we have a plan?
Do we have a plan? I'm thinking we're going to do something with Blazor.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't have a plan.
No?
I don't know. I do have a couple of things that I would love to do. That is kind of outside the box when it comes to Blazor stuff.
Oh?
But I'm not sure if A, it can be done, and B, if I can do it. So we'll see. We'll see.
Cliffhanger, and now I want to know. We need to end this stream so I can find out. Oh, we need to do a ZX stream. Oh, yes, we have talked about that. We really need to do that. Aw, I'm open for any day as long as you'll be there. You're so kind.
I've been thinking about doing a presentation about how to build a ZX Spectrum emulator.
Yeah, I think you should.
I just need to try and remember how I did it because it's been so long.
Oh gosh, we can do a collab and send the code back and forth in MP3s.
That is one of the features that I would love to build, to be able to listen to a sound and load a game.
Or just play the saves on stream. Yeah.
There is, in the ZX Spectrum emulation world, there is something called tap files, so tape without the E. So it's basically wave files, but it's coded in another way. And there's TZH something, TZX maybe, I don't know. But it's basically audio files or the raw bytes that you can load into the emulator. I don't have support for that yet, but that is on my to-do. I've tried it a couple of times, but I can't wrap my head around it at this point. And that's usually how things work with me. I try something, I can't wrap my head around it. I go back, I do something else for a couple of months, come back, still can't wrap my head around it.
Take a shower.
Figure
it out.
Go to bed. And then...
in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
I have mine hooked up to the 3.5 millimeters on my computer and use Bluetooth headset for ears. And the ZX is connected through the cam link.
How do you do that? How do you... Are we talking HDMI from the ZX Spectrum? We talked about this, didn't we? I have a vague recollection of us talking about that. I need to hook up a ZX Spectrum to HDMI.
Definitely, we need to. Yes.
And it would be an awesome stream because we can. Hi and welcome to the ZX stream. Let's look at the load stream for screen for 1.5 hours, and then we can take a look at the game.
Oh, right. This I do remember. You converted it, composite, because you didn't want to burn it. And then,
That makes sense.
Yes, definitely.
I wonder if some of the extensions for the ZX Spectrum, like the one for the micro drive, actually had some composite out. I don't remember.
We need to dust off the old computer boxes.
Yeah.
Well, it's basically a room.
So I did before the workshop, because during the workshop I demoed the ZX Spectrum emulator just briefly. I did update it to .NET 7, and I did a couple of minor changes. It's running .NET 7 now.
Let's look at the loading screen for 90 minutes before it crashes on us and we need to restart. Growing up in the 80s.
And then you took a screwdriver and trying to manipulate the tape recorder head reader, the head on the tape recorder, trying to let's try. Now it might work. Then 30 minutes later, no, it didn't. I remember when I got the 5.25 disk drive to my Commodore 64. That was just mind-blowing fast. We could load a game in 50 minutes. It wasn't that bad, to be honest, but it was.
But let's just say that our attention span has shortened with time. Definitely. That's an understatement, maybe. My 2 favorite games for the C64 needed different positions of the tape head. I was forever adjusting it. Oh, the nostalgia.
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
Is it time?
I think it's time.
It's that time. Do we have someone to raid?
Let me check if someone is online. We have Microsoft Developer. That's the only one that's online, so let's raid.
That seems like a perfect place to be.
Yeah, and they only have 7 people watching right now, so let's add to that. And until next time, happy raiding.
Bye.
Bye.